Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Blumen. Are we running out of things to talk about? Are we? Hell, because another manager has gone from a championship club. That's 4 clubs now with positions open for new managers. And today at around 11 AM, Hull City announced that their erstwhile wonderfully fun David Brent style manager Nigel Adkins will not be signing a new contract with them. There had been one offered. His current contract expires at the end of this month, but he said no. So he comes out of that. You can't fire me. I'm leaving. So he comes out of that exchange, I guess, on top and leaves Hull without a manager. They were quick to put up a statement on their website which said, Hull can confirm head coach Nigel Adkins will leave the club when his current contract expires at the end of the month after turning down the offer of a new deal. Assistant head coach Andy Crosby will also be leaving the KCOM Stadium. Adkins was quoted in the statement, "After much careful consideration, I have decided our futures are not aligned." So let's talk about this. Adkins arrived on the 7th of December 2017. Hull were relegated, so they'd only been up 1 year, so 2 years of parachute payments should give them a bit of an advantage in the championship, just a little bit. But remember, their owners, the Alams, are not the most popular and not the most easy to part with their cash at Hull. In comes Leonid Slutsky. That didn't go well at all. So when Adkins takes over, Hull are 20th in the table, despite having a year one £45 million parachute payment. Not good. Adkins stabilises it. He finishes the season 18th. They're 8 points clear of the relegation zone. If I remember it correctly, there was a few games to go by the time they looked like they were properly safe down there. Strangely high as well. I know Slutsky's team actually put a few goals on, but 70 goals scored by a Hull team with, I remember Harry Wilson on loan there the year before. Obviously, he was at Derby on loan last year, a bit of a championship specialist, Harry Wilson. And obviously, we're going to mention when we talk about Hull, Jared Bowen was there, Kamil Grzycki as well. So some star power in that team. I guess the negative people will say, oh, they only went up 2 places and they're on parachute money. But I think a decent job in the first year. We go into last season, 2018-19. Again, here comes 34 million quid in parachute payments. But really, they don't spend anything at all last season. Some may say from the outside, well, you know, don't gamble everything, but they're not gambling anything. Literally, the alarms. Hull start really badly. On the 24th of October, we've played 14 games. They've got 9 points, level with Ipswich at the bottom, 23rd place. But then, out of nowhere, seemingly, an incredible run where Hull, for about 13 games, 9 of the next 13 they won, were certainly points-wise the best team in the division, and they really tore it up. There was a 6-game winning streak. I remember they put 6 past Bolton, went away and won at Leeds over in the new year. They were on fire, playing absolutely beautifully. They levelled off a little bit. I think they got as high as 7th or 8th in that run. And as late as the 10th of April when I checked, 5 games to go and they're still 5 points off the playoffs. They ended up only taking, I think, 2 points from the last 5 games and dropped right down into 13th spot. But certainly a different outcome of those last 5 games, and a definite comfortable top half finish would have been achieved. So we get to the end of that season. We now know there will be no parachute payments next season. We know the alarms don't spend. They clearly wanted to keep Adkins. I guess their idea was, oh, he'll be able to do the same thing next year without the parachute money. And, well, we'll talk about what else Hull will be without in a little bit. So where does this leave Nigel Adkins? I think on managers' journeys, part of the skill, particularly when the Championship concerned, is leaving at the right time. And you kind of have your reputation and your stock. And I think this is a good decision by Nigel Adkins. I have to say, I hope Hull fans don't dislike me for saying that. If I was Nigel Adkins and I'm looking at it and I've just discussed for the last month and I probably know that I'm selling Jared Bowen, and the top spend last year with a parachute payment was 1.53 million. This year, it's obviously they're going to spend absolutely nothing, maybe a million or two from whatever they get from Bowen or Krasitsky. So I think if I'm Adkins, I say I look good. I went into Hull when they were 20th and I left them 13th, and it should have been higher as well. They should have finished. I know it's only a position high, but it should have finished in the top half. And I guess everybody knows the state of play there. So if I'm Nigel Adkins, I now leave and am available, and I would rate Nigel Adkins as a mid-level second or third quartile Championship manager. Not top 8, but certainly 9th to 16th. Nigel Adkins should be managing in there. Where does this leave Hull, though? Because I'm a little bit worried, I have to say. When they first came down, they did put some money in, but didn't spend it incredibly wisely under Slutsky. And really, when you actually think which pot did that money come out of, it didn't come out of the parachute money. Clucas, Maguire, Robertson sold. Maguire and Robertson have gone on to great things, winning the Champions League and playing in the World Cup. That brought in a load of money. As I said, last year, the top deal was 1.5 million, and it was bringing in people like Martin, Elphick, on loan with the deals. I mean, Liam Ridgewell was the extent of January as well. So not spending anything at all. And what it looks like now is one huge asset on the books is Jared Bowen. I forget how many goals, into the 20s for his goals. He's 22 years old as well. Right winger. And I wouldn't have thought he'll be at Hull much longer. And I wouldn't have thought he'll be in the Championship much longer. I think his market value is over the 15 million mark. Look, Dan James has just gone for 15 million, and you would argue Dan James's potential. You would argue that Bowen has already achieved more. So I think Bowen goes. Krasitsky, Forest are all over Krasitsky, and Mr. Marinakis has proven at Forest that he will overpay as well. So I think two of your best players are going to be on their way out. You've got Henriksen and Irvine as well, who are good Championship operators in the midfield. Fraser Campbell was an important player for them. So we saw Norwich run out of payments, parachute payments, but put a brilliant plan in place way before. We're now seeing Middlesbrough and Hull running out of parachute payments and at the same time change their managers. So it's going to be interesting to see how, I know it's not a video about Borough, but those two teams cope. And I'm a little bit worried about Hull. You would think it would only be a lower league position than 13th, and it really depends who they bring in as manager. Like I said, there's 4 Championship jobs open, and 2 of them do have parachute payments. West Brom and Swansea. Borough is also open, and Hull. So I don't know whether you see Adkins pushing for any of those jobs. Obviously, Bilic has been mentioned now at West Brom. We know Jukanovic is still lurking about. Pulis is lurking about. I don't know whether there'll be any roundabout stuff going on there. So we will see. In short, I think Adkins has probably made a good call. I think Hull, I'm worried about. There's going to be less money there, less players. I don't know who they're going to attract as manager, and I see a bit of a downward trend for them next season. Could be wrong, but just all of that evidence would point in that direction. Let me know what you think in the comments, particularly where do you think Adkins pops up? Any of those three available clubs, if you don't count Hull, possibly, but more likely somewhere during the season, maybe as a firefighter. Who is going to go to Hull? Who are they going to attract, and who's going to want that job, knowing that even with a parachute payment, 34 million, they didn't spend anything this year, and they're going to be without that next year. So I don't know who wants that job or who they could attract. And what do you think Hull's expectations are next season? Is it going to be the fall off the cliff, or will the alarms finally sell and find someone who wants it? We shall see. Let me know the answers to all of those things in the comments. Another top 5 video in the can. I don't know when to put that out. Maybe put that out tomorrow. Thank you everybody for watching and joining in this week. We did a bit on the new law changes yesterday. Lots of good comments on that. So plenty of content. We are surviving the close season very well on the channel so far. I know it's only been a week or so, but managing to get videos up. But please put your ideas in for other videos I can do. Really would appreciate that. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Subscribe, comment, hit the bell for updates for more championship content. And I will see you very soon. Thanks for watching.